Hare Krishna. So today is the auspicious day of Sri Navamī 2024, and we will read the prayers of Hanuman and the story of Ramayana that is condensed in the Bhagavatam. Wait. So 5:19, chapter 5, text 19, verse 1. श्रीशुक उवाच किं पुरुषे वर्षे भगवन्तम् आदिपुरुषं लक्ष्मणाग्रजं सीताभिरामं रामं तच्चरणसन्निकर्षाभिरतः परमभागवतो हनुमान् सह किं पुरुषैरविरतभक्तिरुपास्ते. Srila Sukadeva Goswami said, "My dear king, in Kim Purusha Varsha, the great devotee Hanuman is always engaged with the inhabitants of that land in devotional service to Lord Ramachandra, the elder brother of Lakshman and dear husband of Sita Devi." So, Kim Purusha is part of the Bhumandala, part of the Jambudvipa, in fact. Jambudvipa is the innermost circle of the Bhumandala. If you see from the Puranic cosmology, there's concentric circles of land and ocean, like that. So, entire Bhumandala. So, the Jambudvipa is the center island, which has the Meru mountain and Mandara mountain and all the other mountains on the sides of the Meru mountain, smaller mountains. And then 9 parts it is divided. Bharatavarshe Bharatakhande. So we always say in the Sankalpa of any yajna or puja, there is, so Bharatavarsha is there, Bharatavarsha and Bharatakhanda. So that we know, what we know as Bharatavarsha in India is actually a minuscule portion of the original Bharatavarsha. Because in the Vishnu Puran, I think first canto, second chapter, if I'm not wrong, the limits of Bharatavarsha are mentioned. So from Himadri to the ocean. So that means from the Himalayas to the ocean on the south. But we also have Himalayas in the north and the ocean in the south, and that is kind of the Bharatvarsha. But the next verse says it is 72,000 miles long. So 9,000 yojanas, something like this. So that is impossible. That's not that long, the geography that we know. So therefore, there must be other features of the geography which are not visible to us today. So anyway, that is Bharatavarsha. Even the Himalayas also, in Bhagavatam, if you see the size of the Himalayas, it's very, very tall, 80,000 miles high. But our Himalayas are only 5.5 miles high. So the rest of the Himalayas is in the subtle dimension, subtle region, which is not accessible by us. Even if we go to the Mount Everest, it's all cold and it's like a desert, ice desert. So you cannot, in fact, people will die there. So many people have died. And nothing is to be achieved there. But if we see the description in the Puranas, it is full of gardens, it is full of herbs, Vyasadeva is also there, very beautiful place, like that. So anyway, that is all Bharatavarsha, but Kim Purusha Varsha is another Varsha on the Jambudvipa, which is completely inaccessible to us. So there, Hanuman is always there, engaged in the devotional service of Ramachandra, the elder brother of Lakshman and dear husband of Sita. आर्ष्टिशेणेन सह गन्धर्वैरनुगीयमानां परमकल्याणीं भर्तृभगवत्कथां samupashrunoti swayam chedam gayati. A host of Gandharvas is always engaged in chanting the glories of Lord Ramachandra. That chanting is always extremely auspicious. Hanumanji and Arshkishena, the chief person in Kim Purusha Varsha, constantly hear those glories with complete attention. Hanuman chants the following mantras. Let's read something interesting here. In the Puranas, there are two different opinions concerning Lord Ramachandra. In the Laghu Bhagavata Amrita 5:34 through 36, this is confirmed in the description of the incarnation of Manu. वासुदेवादिरूपाणाम् अवताराः प्रकीर्तिताः विष्णुधर्मोत्तरे राम लक्ष्मणाद्याः क्रमादमी पाद्मे तु रामो भगवान् नारायण इतीरितः शेषश्चक्रं च शङ्खश्च क्रमात्स्युर्लक्ष्मणादयः मध्यदेशस्थितायोध्या पुरेस्य वसति स्मृता महावैकुण्ठलोके च राघवेन्द्रस्य कीर्तिता. The Vishnu Dharmottara describes that Lord Ramachandra and his brothers Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrughna are incarnations of Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha respectively. The Padma Puran, however, says that Lord Ramachandra is an incarnation of Narayana and that the other three brothers are incarnations of Shesha, Chakra and Shankha. Therefore, Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan has concluded that Tadimam kalpa bhedenaiva sambhavyam. In other words, these opinions are not contradictory. In some millenniums, Lord Ramachandra and his brothers appear as incarnations of Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. And in other millenniums, they appear as incarnations of Narayana, Shesha, Chakra and Shankha. The residence of Lord Ramachandra on this planet is Ayodhya. Ayodhya city is still existing in the district of Faizabad, which is situated in the northern side of Uttar Pradesh. It was called Faizabad, this Ayodhya. Now it is changed. Om Namo Bhagavate Uttama Shlokaya Nama Arya Lakshana Shila Vrataya Nama Upashikshitatmana Upasita Lokaya Namaha Sadhuvadan Nikashanaya Namo Brahmanya Devaya Mahapurushaya Maharajaya Nama Iti. So Hanuman's prayers. Let me please your lordship by chanting the Bija Mantra Omkara. I wish to offer my respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, who is the best among the most highly elevated personalities. Your lordship is the reservoir of all the good qualities of the Aryans, people who are advanced. Your character and behavior are always consistent and you always control your senses and mind. Acting just like an ordinary human being, you exhibit the exemplary character to teach others how to behave. There is a touchstone that can be used to examine the quality of gold, but you are like a touchstone that can verify all good qualities. You are worshipped by Brahmanas who are the foremost of all devotees. You, the Supreme Person, are the King of Kings, and therefore I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. यत्तद्विशुद्धानुभवमात्रमेकं स्वतेजसाध्वस्तगुणव्यवस्थं प्रत्यक्प्रशान्तं सुधियोपलम्भनं ह्यनामरूपं निरहं प्रपद्ये. The Lord, whose pure form, Satchidananda Vigraha, is uncontaminated by the modes of material nature, can be perceived by pure consciousness. In the Vedanta, he is described as being one without a second. Because of his spiritual potency, he is untouched by the contamination of material nature, and because he is not subjected to material vision, he is known as transcendental. He has no material activities, nor has he a material form or name. Only in pure consciousness, Kṛṣṇa consciousness, can one perceive the transcendental form of the Lord. Let us be firmly fixed at the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra, and let us offer our respectful obeisances unto those transcendental lotus feet. Arupanamam. So, yes. So, of course, you can go and read the purport. I'm just going to read the verses. 5:19:5 मर्त्यावतारस्त्विहमर्त्यशिक्षणं रक्षो वधायैव न केवलं विभोः कुतोऽन्यथा स्याद् रमतः स्व आत्मनः सीताकृतानि व्यसनानीश्वरस्य सीताकृतानि व्यसनानीश्वरस्य. It was ordained that Ravana, the chief of the Rakshasas, could not be killed by anyone but a man, and for this reason, Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared in the form of a human being. Lord Ramachandra's mission, however, was not only to kill Ravana but also teach mortal beings that material happiness centered around sex life or centered around one's wife is the cause of many miseries. He is the self-sufficient Supreme Personality of Godhead and nothing is lamentable for him. Therefore, why else could he be subjected to tribulations by the kidnapping of Mother Sita? This Sadguru made a nonsense video about Rama. I think you saw, right? He said, what is the success in Ram? He was supposed to become king and then he was banished. And then his father passed away. And then his wife got kidnapped. And then Jatayu passed away. And then the whole, of course, he won the war against Ravan, but again come back only to lose Sita again to the forest. Even after all that, he was, what is that? There was gossip about him. So therefore he has to banish Sita. And when he wanted Sita back, she passed away. And he fought his own sons. So where is this successful life? This is how he said. Then, in order not to sound too controversial, then he said, it is not because of these things that we worship Ram. Because if you see Ram's life, it's not a success. But the success of his life is that he always followed dharma irrespective of the situation. So that quality is what we worship, it's not the person. So like this he was telling. Nonsense fellow. So actually, Lord Ram, anyone, like if you see how Maricha was warning Ravan, if you see those words, later I think I don't know if it will come here. Ramayana 9:10. So there we will see how Maricha was warning Ravan. Nobody could stand Ram in the battlefield. Nobody knew when he was, putting his hand in the quiver and when he was pulling the bow. Nobody could see. Who is that? You shared, no? The script. That Shurpanakha, when she is complaining, when she is informing Ravan, she said, nobody could know. It looked like just he was standing, but everybody was falling like wheat on the field. And the wheat is just falls like that when harvesting. They just fell, and he was just standing. That's how fast he was. That's just his fighting. So, of course, he is the Supreme Lord, but he is teaching. He is teaching not only by his actions, but also by creating the situation in which he is showing us that happiness or material life centered around sex life is full of miseries. And we know the verse 7:9:45, where Prahlad Maharaj says, "Iva dukkha dukkham," the sex life, "yanmaithunadi sukhamedi grihamedi sukham hi tuchham kandujanena karayor iva dukkha dukkham." So it is always full of miseries. So that is what he is teaching. So let's go to the next verse. Of course, there's a lot can be said each and every verse, but we are just skimming through the whole. 5:19:6. And at the same time, he was also relishing the separation from Sita, because in spiritual life, devotional service, separation is more than meeting. Separation is more ecstasy than meeting, and that is the essence of Ramananda Samvad, which is the conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. That is the highest conclusion. Navaisa atmatmavatam suhrittamah saktas trilokyam bhagavan vasudevah nastri kritam kashmalamashnovita nalaksh Lakshmanam chapi vihatum arhati. In fact, people like this, Mayavadis, they say that it is the qualities of Ram that we should imbibe in our life. Worship means we should imbibe those qualities in our life. That's it. They say like this. But they say it is the message that is important, not the messenger. That also he said in that video, that rascal. Hey, you sit down here now. So it's the message, not the messenger. But what if the message of the messenger is to surrender to the messenger? Because Krishna is saying Sarva Dharman Parityaja. If the message of Bhagavad Gita is what we need to be concerned with, and not the messenger, but the message is saying that surrender to the messenger. And then you cannot avoid the messenger. So either way, but these people, they separate the message and the messenger. Krishna and his words are inseparable. He and his descriptions are inseparable. So these people don't know anything. It's called Ardhakukuti Nyaya and then Mayavad philosophy. They say only the qualities we should impart. Yes, that is what he's teaching. That is one of the many, many, many aspects of Ramachandra's life. Not only the only thing that we should learn from him or glorify. Exactly. The name, form, qualities, pastime. And even if, No, he's saying that qualities means we take the quality from that person and then we try to be like that. And that's it, the worship. For that reason, we idolize Ram. He is our role model for behaving that way, dharma. This is nonsense. He is not just a role model. That is one of his many reasons of appearance, but he is actually the Supreme Personality of God. Sakradeva prapanno yastavasmiti chayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vratamam. He is saying, surrender to me. Those who surrender to me, I give them fearlessness. So he gives fearlessness. He is a person and he is the Supreme. This guy is not a Brahmavadi also. This guy is just, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. Therefore, he could not possibly have suffered because of separation from his wife, nor could he have given up his wife and Lakshman, his younger brother. To give up either would have been absolutely impossible. You see, one should therefore learn about the activities of Lord Ramachandra from a self-realized soul. Then one can understand the transcendental activities of the Lord. Okay, so next verse, 519.7. न जन्मनूनं महतो न सौभगं नवान्न बुद्धिर्न कृतिस्तोष हेतु तैर्यद्विसृष्टान्नपि नो वनौकसश्चकार सख्ये बत लक्ष्मणाग्रजः. One cannot establish a friendship with the Supreme Lord Ramachandra on the basis of material qualities such as one's birth in an aristocratic family, one's personal beauty, one's eloquence, one's sharp intelligence, or one's superior race or nation. None of these qualifications is actually a prerequisite for friendship with Lord Sri Ramachandra. Otherwise, how is it possible that although we uncivilized inhabitants of the forest have not taken noble births, although we have no physical beauty, and although we cannot speak like gentlemen, Lord Ramachandra has nevertheless accepted us as friends? So this shows the other aspect, another aspect of Ramachandra's incarnation. Usually he is dealing with brahmanas, sages, yogis, sannyasis. But here he is dealing with monkeys, bears, vultures, and they also contributed. He engaged them in his service. They usually don't have such facilities, considered fallen in their births, but of course with Krishna also, he was there as in the Vrindavan. There are cows, there are birds, there are all kinds of animals. Especially Ramachandra, they became a big army to fight for him. And actually, he doesn't need any of them. Again, engaging them in service. 598. Suro vāpyathava naro naraha sarvatmanayah sukritagnyam uttamam bhajeta ramam manujakritim harim ya uttaran anayat koshalan divamiti. Therefore, whether one is a demigod or a demon, a man or a creature other than man, such as a beast or bird, everyone should worship Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears on this earth just like a human being. There is no need of great austerities or penances to worship the Lord, for he accepts even a small service offered by his devotee. Thus he is satisfied, and as soon as he is satisfied, the devotee is successful. Indeed, Lord Sri Ramachandra brought all the devotees of Ayodhya back home, back to Godhead, Vaikuntha. So here there is instruction that everyone should worship Lord Ramachandra, whether beast or bird. But how is a beast or bird going to understand this? They cannot understand. So how? That means human society, we should engage in Krishna's service and employ even the animals in the service. Some people argue, especially the vegan activists, vegans. They say not only should we not use animal products to eat, including dairy, but also we should not use animals for our use. We should not exploit them. We should just leave them and happily running around, and that's it. But that is not actually our philosophy. Our philosophy is that humans are more intelligent than animals. They are the big brothers of the rest of the population of the earth. So they must engage like a big brother, he engages the younger brother. So like that, we have to engage the others in Krishna's service. Today, because Prabhu went somewhere and then collected flowers. Usually those plants have no good fortune. But today, Ram Navamī day, they offered their flowers to Lord Ram. So they are benefited. So devotees should always engage not only plants but also animals in Krishna's service as much as possible. So even if such animals, for example, bull, he tills the land, how is he serving Krishna? Well, even if that person who is tilling the land, if he is a devotee, then by tilling the land, just by serving the devotees, they also get benefit. If the horse is used to carry devotees from one place to another, horse, what is it called? Horse cart or bullock cart or something like this, then they are also engaging in Krishna's service, in the service of devotees. So in this way, animals used to be part of the thing and they used to also get benefit. But now, animals were exploited. Even if people use animals, they use it for their personal benefit and nothing else. And now that is also gone. Vehicles. And the result is that there is so much pollution. Everything is topsy-turvy. We have mental pollution, we have physical pollution, all kinds of pollution in this world. So Ramachandra Bhagavan, he showed that everybody should be engaged in Krishna's service. Monkey is very hard to engage in any service, Monkeys, how to engage monkeys in service? I saw when we went to Barsana or Raval, I think, one of those, maybe Raval. So there, the people, they have trained the cows to come and disturb the tourists. Raval, right? So the cows will, come and push you, and then push you to the banana stand. The guy is selling bananas there. So the cow will follow you and push you like this. Slowly push you all the way until the bananas so that you buy the bananas for the cow. And then when the cow get the bananas, the monkeys also come. So there is cooperation going on. And the man actually trained those animals. So anyway, all of them, animals can be trained for proper reasons, but I don't know how to train a monkey, honestly. There are people who train monkeys. Yeah, circus they do. But to engage them in Krishna service, I don't know what they can do. But Ramchandra is so powerful that he engaged monkeys. So this is the last verse, right, of his prayers. 9 is something else. Naranarayan. Right? This is next. So now we'll go to the translations of 9:10 and 9:11. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 10. Sukadeva Goswami said, the son of Maharaj Khatvanga was Dirghabahu, and his son was the celebrated Maharaj Raghu. From Maharaj Raghu came Aja, and from Aja was born the great personality Maharaj Dasharath. Being prayed for by the demigods, the supreme personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth himself, directly appeared with his expansion and expansions of the expansion. Their holy names were Ram, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughna. These celebrated incarnations thus appeared in the 4 forms as the sons of Maharaj Dasharath, as we have seen in that verse. Sometimes they are Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. Sometimes they are Narayan, Shesha, Shankha and Chakra. Different kalpas. O King Parikshit, the transcendental activities of Lord Ramachandra have been described by great saintly persons who have seen the truth. Because you have heard again and again about Lord Ramachandra, the husband of Mother Sita, I shall describe these activities only in brief. Please listen. To keep the promise of his father intact, Lord Ramachandra immediately gave up the position of king and, accompanied by his wife, Mother Sita, wandered from one forest to another on his lotus feet, which were so delicate that they were unable to bear even the touch of Sita's palms. The Lord was also accompanied by Hanuman, or by another monkey, Sugriva, king of the monkeys, and by his own younger brother, Lord Lakshman, both of whom gave him relief from the fatigue of wandering in the forest. Having cut off the nose and ears of Shurpanakha, thus disfiguring her, the Lord was separated from Mother Sita. He therefore became angry, moving his eyebrows and thus frightening the ocean, who then allowed the Lord to construct a bridge to cross the ocean. Subsequently, the Lord entered the kingdom of Ravan to kill him like a fire devouring a forest. May that Supreme Lord Ramachandra give us all protection. It's like one verse, almost like an Ekashloki Ramayana. What is this? गुरुवर्थे त्यक्तराज्यो व्यचरदनुवनं पद्मपद्भ्यां प्रियायाः पाणिस्पर्शाक्षमाभ्यां मृजितपथरुजो यो हरेन्द्रानुजाभ्यां वैरूप्याच्छूर्पणख्याः प्रियविरहरुषारोपितभ्रूविजृम्भ त्रस्ताद्भिर्बद्धसेतुः खलदवदहनः कोसलेन्द्रोऽवतान्नः. Beautiful verse. In the arena of the sacrifice performed by Vishwamitra, Lord Ramachandra, the king of Ayodhya, killed many demons, rakshasas and uncivilized men who wandered at night in the mode of darkness. May Lord Ramachandra, who killed these demons in the presence of Lakshman, be kind enough to give us protection. So now that Ekashloki Ramayana is kind of chanted, now he is expanding each of those activities, but not too much. O King, the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra were wonderful like those of a baby elephant. In the assembly where Mother Sita was to choose her husband in the midst of the heroes of the world, he broke the bow belonging to Lord Shiva. This bow was so heavy that it was carried by 300 men. But Lord Ramachandra bent and strung it and broke it in the middle, just as a baby elephant breaks a stick of sugarcane. Now, how can ordinary man do this? Thus, the Lord achieved the hand of Mother Sita, who was equally as endowed with transcendental qualities of form, beauty, behavior, age, and nature. Indeed, she was the goddess of fortune who constantly rests on the chest of the Lord. While returning from Sita's home after gaining her at the assembly of competitors, Lord Ramachandra met Parshuram. Although Parshuram was very proud, having rid the earth of the royal order 21 times, he was defeated by the Lord, who appeared to be a Kshatriya of the royal order. Imagine defeating Parshuram. No. He was killing people at the speed of the mind. So fast he was in the battlefield. Nobody could even see him. He was just going like a tornado everywhere and killing people. Carrying out the order of his father, who was bound by a promise to his wife, Lord Ramachandra left behind his kingdom, opulence, friends, well-wishers, residents, and everything else, just as a liberated soul gives up his life and went to the forest with Sita. So here, in Ramayana, not only the attachment of Ram to Sita is the example of material miseries, but also Dasharath's attachment to Kaikeyi also is an example of attachment to wife being the cause of unlimited miseries. But again, on the spiritual side of things, being separated from Ram, Dasharath also felt Vipralambha. Like gopis also, some of them gave up their lives, not being able to see Kṛṣṇa again. Similarly, Dasharath also gave up his life. This stupid Asad-guru, he doesn't know all these things. And then he'll just comment. And then say that I have never read the Vedas, I have never read anything. Don't talk, no. Why you talk about it? And when I say that, people get angry. While wandering in the forest, where he accepted a life of hardship, carrying his invincible bow and arrows in his hand, Lord Ramachandra deformed Ravana's sister, who was polluted with lusty desires, by cutting off her nose and ears. He also killed her 14,000 Rakshasa friends, headed by Khara, Trishira, and Dushan. Let's see. Any explanation is there or not? No explanation. Because Lakshman is the one who disfigured her. Here it is said Ram. Maybe Kalpa Bheda or through Lakshman. O King Parikshit, when Ravana, who had 10 heads on his shoulders, heard about the beautiful and attractive features of Sita, his mind was agitated by lusty desires and he went to kidnap her. To distract Lord Ramachandra from his ashram, Ravan sent Maricha in the form of a golden deer, and when Lord Ramachandra saw that wonderful deer, he left his residence and followed it and finally killed it with a sharp arrow, just as Lord Shiva killed Daksha. When Ramachandra entered the forest and Lakshman was also absent, the worst of the Rakshasas, Ravan, kidnapped Sita Devi, the daughter of the king of Videha, just as a tiger seizes unprotected sheep when the shepherd is absent. Then Lord Ramachandra wandered in the forest with his brother Lakshman, as if very much distressed due to the separation from his wife. Thus he showed by his personal example the condition of a person attached to women. Lord Ramachandra, whose lotus feet are worshipped by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, had assumed the form of, worshipped by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva also, not an ordinary human being, had assumed the form of a human being. Thus he performed the funeral ceremony of Jatayu, who was killed by Ravan. The Lord then killed the demon named Kabandha, and after making friends with the monkey chiefs, killing Vali and arranging for the deliverance of Mother Sita, he went to the beach of the ocean. Very quickly, the whole thing is explained. After reaching the beach, Lord Ramachandra fasted for 3 days, awaiting the arrival of the ocean personified. When the ocean did not come, the Lord exhibited his pastimes of anger, and simply by his glancing over the ocean, all the living entities within it, including the crocodiles and sharks, were agitated by fear. An ordinary human being can do that? Crocodiles and sharks getting afraid of a human being. Then the personified ocean fearfully approached Lord Ramachandra, taking all paraphernalia to worship him. Falling at the Lord's lotus feet, the personified ocean spoke as follows. You see, uh, taking all paraphernalia to worship him. No, from the ocean also there is paraphernalia to worship the Lord, like pearls. Oysters also get to serve the Lord if we use them in Krishna's service. O all pervading Supreme Person, we are dull minded and did not understand who you are, but now we understand that you are the Supreme Person, the Master of the entire universe, the unchanging and original personality of Godhead. The demigods are infatuated with the mode of goodness, the Prajapatis with the mode of passion, and the Lord of hosts with the mode of ignorance, but you are the master of all these qualities. So it is no surprise that these false gurus cannot understand the Lord, because even the demigods cannot. Nahite Bhagavan Vyaktim Vidur Devan Danavaha. Not, what is that? Ham Adar Devanam Maharshinam Sarvasha. What is the first? 10.2. Name Viduh Suragana Prabhavam na Maharshayah. I think the online community cannot see this. I guess they can only see the. So, 10.2, here it is said, neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. So they also cannot know. What to speak of these cheaters in the form of gurus. Alright? So, next. My lord, you may use my water as you like. Indeed, you may cross it and go to the abode of Ravan, who is the great source of disturbance and crying for the three worlds. In fact, the word Ravan means one who causes others to cry. The one who causes others to cry. The father named him very nicely. How he, what is the naming ceremony of the Ravan would look like? And Hiranyakashipu. Indeed, you may cross it and go to the abode of Ravan, who is the great source of disturbance and crying for the three worlds. He is the son of Vishrava, but is condemned like urine. So, Putra and Mutra. So, actually, his father was a great sage, Vishrava, Brahmana. But he is like not like a Putra. Putra means Punnama Narakat Trayata iti Putra. One who saves his father from going to hell. That is Putra. But he was like urine, Mutra. So a son who does not save his father from going to hell, he is actually urine. So therefore, Ravan was condemned like urine. Please go kill him and thus regain your wife, Sita Devi. O great hero, although my water presents no impediment to your going to Lanka, please construct a bridge over it to spread your transcendental fame. You see, this is the thing. Although my water presents no impediment to your going to Lanka. This is important, right? Let's see the Sanskrit, what you said. कामं प्रयाहि जहि विश्रवसोऽवमेहं त्रैलोक्यरावणमवाप्नुहि वीरपत्नीं बध्नीः सेतुमिह ते यशसो वितत्यै गायन्ति दिग्विजयिनो यमुपेत्य भूपाः. जय श्री राधा. See, So, you see, water is not an impediment. It's not particularly mentioned in the verse, but here he is saying that Badhnihi setumiha te yashasah vitatyai gayanti digvijainah yamupetya bhupa. So, here it is said, although my water presents no impediment to your going to Lanka, Ram did not need the Ram Setu to go to Lanka. He did not need. But please construct a bridge over it to spread your transcendental fame. See, this is the reason why kings everywhere, they have undertaken construction projects. Because they know they will not last long in this world. But their construction will stand. If you see the big temples of India, everywhere the temples have stood for thousands of years. The king might have died. Even if you see in the West, there are many construction projects like Eiffel Tower is there and all these. Nowadays buildings don't last that long. After some time, they will just crush them to rubble. After 100 to 200 years maximum, okay, gone. But you see, now we think our construction projects are much better off. No. Look at those temples of India. How long they have stood. And they will stand for another thousands and thousands of years. So, this will increase their fame. Oh, you will see, oh, this was constructed by that such and such king. His name will be chanted even thousands of years later. So, here the ocean personified, Samudra, he is telling Ram that you can cross this ocean, for you nothing, you are the Supreme Personality. In fact, you are the bridge for people to cross the ocean of this samsara sagara. Right? What is that? Bhagavatam. What is that? Tamadi devam karunanidhanam. What is that? Tamalavarnam suhitavataram apara samsara samudra setum bhajamahe bhagavata swarupam. So, this is the Bhagavatam is just the pastimes, just by reading the pastimes of the Lord, the Leela of the Lord, we are constructing a bridge over this Bhagavatam is the bridge over the samsara, apara samsara samudra setum. Apara means actually you cannot cross. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Daivi hiesha gunamaya mama maya duratyaya. We cannot cross over this maya at all. But there is a bridge that can help us cross. That is the Bhagavatam, this Bhagavatam. So if he is the Setu himself, why does he need another Setu to cross this small ocean? He doesn't need. In fact, not only him, he can bring out the Vanara army also if he wants without any bridge. But Samudra said, you construct the bridge so that your fame will be known. Because there are idiots out there who are saying that, oh, Ram never happened, Ramayana never happened, this never happened, that never happened. Therefore, Krishna left the Dwarka under the ocean and the Ram Setu under the ocean. So, even if we try to, even if there are people who are trying to, brush off the fame of Lord Ram or Krishna, the Lord has his ways to establish and re-establish his supremacy and the truth about his Leela. By actually, for the devotees, they don't mind even if there is nothing, even if there is no signs of, they don't need a Ram Setu to believe Lord Ram. They don't need a Dwaraka under the ocean to believe Lord Krishna. They don't need it. Because they know that if the Lord wants, he could have completely destroyed the Dwaraka and he could have completely destroyed the Ram Setu and make it disappear. And the Lord did many times make many things disappear. In fact, the Ram Setu that we see today is not the original size of the Ram Setu that is described in the Ramayana. It is 800 miles long and 80 miles wide, and it was constructed in 5 days. Floating. So it is huge, and the number of monkeys is unimaginable. 1 followed by 72 zeros, in some places 66 zeros. What is billion? 8 billion people, we say, oh, population, overpopulation, 8 billion. 8 billion is how many zeros, man? 9 zeros. 8 followed by 9 zeros. 72 zeros. Only monkeys. We are not talking about the rest of the population of the world. How did he even fit that on the earth? There's such a Vanarasena. You just imagine the sight when Ravana looked from his palace, the army of the monkeys. You cannot imagine until the horizon and beyond the horizon were monkeys. On the earth now you cannot fit that many monkeys. How did he fit in Bharatvarsh? Kishkinda. And he was in Ayodhya, there were no monkeys. He came south, Kishkinda, and there he found Sugriva, Hanuman and all this. That means not even the whole of Bharat, just southern Bharat. That many monkeys, how? So these are secrets which cannot be understood by anybody. But if you see, Kṛṣṇa also, in the small Mathura, Vrindavan, which is a village, unlimited cows. Not like, millions, no. There is no count. His father had 9 lakh cows, 900,000, almost 1 million cows. And Kṛṣṇa was tending calves with his cowherd boyfriends, and he was going in the forest. He was not having some 12, 13 friends. He was having millions of cowherd boyfriends. Unlimited number of cows. Let me show that. Where is that? Madhya 21:20 is it? एक गोप एक गोप करे जय वत्स चारण कोटि अर्बुद शंख पद्म ताहर गणन. Not only Kṛṣṇa, each of his cowherd boyfriends had unlimited. You see, each of the cowherd boys was tending calves to the extent of a koti, arbuda, shankha and padma. That is the way of counting. What is this? Padma means lotus, not like this. There is a count also. This is mathematics actually. Let's see the mathematics. According to Vedic mathematical calculations, the following enumeration system is used. Units, tens, dasha, hundreds, shata, thousands, sahasra, 10,000s, ayuta. We don't use this ayuta word very much. 100,000 laksha, we use this. 10 times laksha is niyuta, we don't use this. 10 times niyuta is koti, we use this. 10 times koti is arbuda, we don't say. After koti is just 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000 lakh crores, crores. But actually there is words. Arbuda, 10 times arbuda is vrinda. 10 times vrinda is kharva. 10 times kharva is nikharva. 10 times nikharva is shankha. 10 times shankha is padma. 10 times padma is sagar. 10 times sagar is antya. 10 times antya is madhya. 10 times madhya is parardha. Each atom is 10 times greater than the previous one. You look at our numbering system. What nonsense mathematics are. What is that? Now only they are trying to find out some. We have mathematics more than anybody. And Kṛṣṇa, you see, each item is 10 times greater than the previous one. Thus, all the cowherd boys who were companions of Kṛṣṇa had many calves to take care of. Each of them. How did he fit that all in Vrindavan? Plus, when Kṛṣṇa danced with the gopis in Ras Leela, he danced with unlimited number of gopis. Millions and millions of them. And he danced for one whole night of Brahma, which is 4.32 billion years in our time. But he fit that whole night of Brahma in one earthly night. So Kṛṣṇa can do things which we cannot imagine. So he fit the entire Brahma's night in one earth night. He can definitely fit the entire Bhumandal area into the small thing. He can fit so many Vanaras. In fact, these monkeys were not ordinary monkeys like we see. Small monkeys, cannot do anything. How big these monkeys are. You see the chimpanzees? You know how strong a chimpanzee is? A gorilla? One chimpanzee, if you go and see some wildlife videos, 40, 50 men won't be able to do anything to one. And they are minuscule compared to the Vanaras that help Ram. Not ordinary monkeys, billions and billions. No, no, no. We're talking about monkeys who can, gorillas, chimpanzees who can uproot huge, massive trees and mountain peaks they used to throw as weapons. That kind of monkeys, one followed by 72 zeros. He fit it. This is Rāma. So for his Leelas, he can unlimitedly expand the time and space. Einstein came up with this theory of relativity of time and space. Nothing compared to what the Lord does. He can manipulate time and space as much as he wants, completely within his control. For us, each second passing, it is going. We are forced by time. For him, time is forced by him. So he forces time whichever way he wants. And he forces space also. Why is he slamming the door? So, going back, you see, Samudra is saying, please construct a bridge over it to spread your transcendental fame so that even the non-believers would believe you even after millions and billions of years. Don't slam the door. Even for millions of years, people will glorify you. Upon seeing this wonderfully uncommon deed of your Lordship, all the great heroes and kings in the future will glorify you. See, this is the plan. So, Sukadeva Goswami said, after constructing a bridge over the ocean by throwing into the water the peaks of mountains, they is not throw just small stones, or boulders are also too small. How much distance you have to cover? Peaks of mountains they were throwing, whose trees and other vegetation had been shaken by the hands of great monkeys. Lord Ramachandra went to Lanka to release Sita Devi from the clutches of Ravana. With the direction and help of Vibhishan, Ravana's brother, the Lord, along with the monkey soldiers headed by Sugriva, Nila and Hanuman, entered Ravana's kingdom Lanka, which had previously been burnt by Hanuman. This is another thing. Hanuman was so angry he burned Lanka. So sometimes when we get angry with these demons in the garb of devotees or in the garb of some sadhus today, calling themselves Sadguru when they're actually Asad. But people cannot see. But when we become angry with them, what kind of sadhu you are, you're getting angry, you are fake, you are bogus. But here Hanuman has got so angry that we worship him until today. His anger in the service of Ram is worshipped till today. He burned the Lanka, and it is, in fact, people pray to him for strength. Of course, that is wrong, because they want strength in their own materialistic life. Hanuman will never give you strength. He will give you strength to worship Ram. Not that, I stand Hanuman Chalisa so that I'll pass my exams. Hanuman is not interested in your exams or making you pass the exams, because you're going to fail the exam of life. So he wants you to pass the exam of life. So if we are worshipping Ram, then he will give us just like who? Kapidhwaja. Arjuna was serving Kṛṣṇa on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and Hanuman was there in the form of the flag of the chariot of Arjuna. And there is a monkey that is Hanuman actually, Kapidhwaja. So Hanuman will bless that kind of people like Arjuna who are fighting for Kṛṣṇa. Not somebody who is not interested in Ram or Kṛṣṇa, he is just interested in his own nonsense, and then Hanuman must bless you. Why? Hanuman is wasting time, simply blessing stupid people. No, he won't do that. He is not interested. But anyway, people do take him as an emblem of strength and devotion. But he was angry. So, in other words, anger has its place in Krishna's service. Nothing is bad when employed in Krishna's service. Like Arjuna, he wanted to be non-angry, non-violent. He wanted to run away from the battlefield because, I don't want to kill my relatives. He wanted to be the moralist, Kṛṣṇa condemned him. He said, you fight. What are you doing? Nonsense. You fight, but for my service. He was not interested in that kingdom also, Arjuna. What are they fighting for then? Even here, you see, if you see the actual story of Ramayana, the secret, Rahasya, is not mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana, but in the Kurma Puran, where it is said, Sita, who was abducted by Ravan, was not the original Sita. When Sita went to the hut to bring out the fruits or whatever to offer Ravan, who was in the garb of a saint. He was in the garb of a saint. That's what happened in Kali Yuga. Everybody is in the garb of a saint, but they're not saint. So to cut through the cheating, sometimes strong words have to be spoken against them. It is necessary. And anyway, so Ravan came as in the garb of a saint, and she went inside. That's when she went to the abode of Agnidev, and the Maya Sita came out. What Ravana took, because the real Sita could never be touched by Ravan. She is so pure that she cannot be touched. Maya Sita went, and this is mentioned in Kurma Puran. And then Ravan took, if Ram knew that this was Maya Sita, okay, let Ravana be, you be happy, I'll be happy here with Sita, actual Sita. He could have said, no fighting, nothing, but he fought. When Sita walked through the fire after the whole battle, that's when Maya Sita went and the real Sita came out of the fire. So actually Ravan never touched Sita. But although this is the Rahasya, but otherwise, if that is the main story of the Ramayana, then there will be no reason for Ram to fight. So he does many things in one Leela. That's why actually Ramayana is very, very voluminous. 1 billion verses long in the Brahmalok. It is very, very... But here we have only 24,000, 25,000 verses long, Ramayana. So many details are not mentioned in the Ramayana that we know. There are so many Daiva Rahasyas. So anyway, after entering Lanka, the monkey soldiers led by chiefs like Sugriva, Nila and Hanuman occupied all the sporting houses, granaries, treasuries, palace doorways, city gates, assembly houses, palace frontages, and even the resting houses of the pigeons. They left nothing. When the city's crossroads, platforms, flags, and golden water pots on its domes were all destroyed, the entire city of Lanka appeared like a river disturbed by a herd of elephants. When Ravan, the master of Rakshasas, saw the disturbances created by the monkey soldiers, he called for Nikumbha, Kumbha, Dhumraksha, Durmukha, Surantaka, Narantaka, and other Rakshasas, and also his son Indrajit. Thereafter, he called for Prahasta, Atikaya, Vikampana, and finally Kumbhakarna. Then he induced all his followers to fight against the enemies. Lord Ramachandra, surrounded by Lakshman and monkey soldiers like Sugriva, Hanuman, Gandhamada, Nila, Angada, Jambavan, and Panasa, attacked the soldiers of the Rakshasas, who were fully equipped with various invincible weapons like swords, lances, bows, prasas, rishtis, shakti arrows, khadgas, and tomaras. So, in other words, the monkeys, the Vanaras, they were not very well equipped with their weapons. They were only what? They are attacking with stones, mountain peaks, uprooted trees, and whatever they could find, they were throwing at them. And they had invincible weapons. And not only ordinary arrows, because they were, incantations were chanted on the arrows, and then they became celestial weapons. Angada and other commanders of the soldiers of Ramachandra faced the elephants, infantry, horses, and chariots of the enemy and hurled against them big trees, mountain peaks, clubs, and arrows. Thus, the soldiers of Lord Ramachandra killed Ravana's soldiers who had lost all good fortune because Ravana had been condemned by the anger of Mother Sita. So here in the purport, it's a very beautiful verse actually. Teni kapa raghupate rabhipatya sarve dvandvam varutham ibhapatti rathashva yodhaihi jaghnur drumair girigadeshu bhirangadadhyah Sita bhimarsha hatamangala ravaneshan. Angada and other commanders of the soldiers of Ramachandra faced the elephants. Okay, we have read this, right? So you see here, there are two kinds of strength, Daiva and Purushakara. Daiva refers to the strength achieved from the transcendence, from Kṛṣṇa. And Purushakara refers to the strength organized by one's own intelligence and power. Transcendental power is always superior to the power of the materialist. Depending on the mercy of the Supreme Lord, one must fight one's enemies even though one may not be equipped with modern weapons. Therefore, Kṛṣṇa instructed Arjuna, Mam anusmara yudhyacha, think of me and fight. We should fight our enemy to the best of our ability, but for victory we must depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's not that we should not prepare. We should prepare. Within our capacity, we should prepare the best. That is actually a sign of devotion also. Because if I'm lazy, it's not an excuse to be lazy. But I should prepare to my fullest extent. The Vanaras fought to their fullest capacity. Not that, oh, Ram is here only, just one, like that, marble, like this. They did not do this. What they did, they threw to their best capacity. So we must fight to our best capacity. But even if the other person is more powerful, we must depend on Kṛṣṇa to achieve success. So whom are we fighting? Well, Maya is the enemy. And Maya has many agents. When we are preaching Kṛṣṇa consciousness and making more and more devotees, it is a fight against Maya. Individually, it's a fight against Maya because every moment Maya is attacking us. But even as a movement, we have to grow. More and more people must become devotees of Kṛṣṇa. This is the mission. This is the preaching mission. This is a war against Maya. So, Maya has very powerful weapons like social media, smartphones, powerful weapons. Because that will take people away from Kṛṣṇa. Distracted too much. So, although it is so powerful, we should fight to the best of our capacity. Thereafter, when Ravana, the king of Rakshasas, observed that his soldiers had been lost, he was extremely angry. Thus, he mounted his airplane, which was decorated with flowers, and proceeded toward Lord Ramachandra, who sat on the effulgent chariot brought by Matali, the chariot driver of Indra. Then Ravana struck Lord Ramachandra with sharp arrows. Matali's chariot has 1,000 horses. Usually chariot has horses. Like Parthasarathi had 4 horses. Matali, Indra's chariot, has 1,000 horses. And celestial horses, not ordinary. They can fly even. Lord Ramachandra said to Ravana, you are the most abominable of the man-eaters. Indeed, you are like their stool. You resemble a dog. For as a dog steals eatables from the kitchen in the absence of the householder, in my absence you kidnap my wife, Sita Devi. Therefore, as Yamaraj punishes sinful men, I shall also punish you. You are the most abominable, sinful and shameless. Today, therefore, I, whose attempt never fails, shall punish you. After thus rebuking Ravana, Lord Ramachandra fixed an arrow to his bow, aimed at Ravana and released the arrow, which pierced Ravana's heart like a thunderbolt. Upon seeing this, Ravana's followers raised a tumultuous sound, crying, alas, alas, what has happened, what has happened? As Ravana, vomiting blood from his 10 mouths, fell from his airplane just as a pious man falls to earth from the heavenly planets when the results of his pious activities are exhausted. Thereafter, all the women whose husbands had fallen in the battle, headed by Mandodari, the wife of Ravan, came out of Lanka. Continuously crying, they approached the dead bodies of Ravana and other Rakshasas. Striking their breasts in affliction because their husbands had been killed by the arrows of Lakshman, the women embraced their respective husbands and cried piteously in voices appealing to everyone. O my Lord, O Master, you epitomized trouble for others. Is this a glorification or a insult? You epitomized trouble for others and therefore you were called Ravana. But now that you have been defeated, we also are defeated, for without you, the state of Lanka has been conquered by the enemy. To whom will it go for shelter? O greatly fortunate one, these are the wives who are crying. O greatly fortunate one, you came under the influence of lusty desires and therefore you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita. Mandodari is actually one of the topmost chaste women of the universe. Although she was the wife of Ravan, she was very, very chaste to Ravan. But she could also understand, therefore, the chastity of Mother Sita. So therefore, she is saying like this, you came under the influence of lusty desires and therefore you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita. Now, because of her curse, you have been reduced to this state, having been killed by Lord Ramachandra. O pleasure of the Rakshasa dynasty, because of you, the state of Lanka and also we ourselves have now have no protector. By your deeds, you have made your body fit to be eaten by vultures and your soul fit to go to hell. Powerful words. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Vibhishan, the pious brother of Ravana and devotee of Lord Ramachandra, received approval from Lord Ramachandra, the king of Kosala. Then he performed the prescribed funeral ceremonies for his family members to save them from the path of hell. Thereafter, Lord Ramachandra found Sita Devi sitting in a small cottage beneath the tree named Simshapa in a forest of Ashoka trees. She was lean and thin, being aggrieved because of separation from him. Seeing his wife in that condition, Lord Ramachandra was very compassionate. When Ramachandra came before her, she was exceedingly happy to see her beloved, and her lotus-like mouth showed her joy. After giving Vibhishan the power to rule the Rakshasa population of Lanka for the duration of one kalpa, Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, placed Sita Devi on an airplane decorated with flowers and then got on the plane himself. The period for his living in the forest having ended, the Lord returned to Ayodhya accompanied by Hanuman, Sugriva and his brother Lakshman. When Lord Ramachandra returned to his capital Ayodhya, he was greeted on the road by the princely order who showered his body with beautiful fragrant flowers, while great personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods glorified the activities of the Lord in great jubilation. Upon reaching Ayodhya, Lord Ramachandra heard that in his absence, his brother Bharat was eating barley cooked in the urine of a cow, covering his body with the bark of trees, wearing matted locks of hair, and lying on a mattress of kusha grass. The most merciful Lord very much lamented this. When Lord Bharata understood that Lord Ramachandra was returning to the capital Ayodhya, he immediately took upon his own head Lord Ramachandra's wooden shoes and came out from his camp at Nandigram. Lord Bharat was accompanied by ministers, priests, and other respectable citizens, by professional musicians vibrating pleasing musical sounds, and by learned brahmanas loudly chanting Vedic hymns. Following in the procession were chariots drawn by beautiful horses with harnesses of golden rope. These chariots were decorated by flags with golden embroidery and by other flags of various sizes and patterns. There were soldiers bedecked with golden armor, servants bearing betel nut, and many well-known and beautiful prostitutes. So prostitutes were also there. Many servants followed on foot, bearing an umbrella, whisks, different grades of precious jewels, and other paraphernalia befitting a royal reception. Accompanied in this way, Lord Bharat, his heart softened in ecstasy and his eyes full of tears, approached Lord Ramachandra and fell at his lotus feet with great ecstatic love. After offering the wooden shoes before Lord Ramachandra, Lord Bharata stood with folded hands, his eyes full of tears, and Lord Ramachandra bathed Bharat with tears while embracing him with both arms for a long time. Accompanied by Mother Sita and Lakshman, Lord Ramachandra then offered his respectful obeisances unto the learned brahmanas, the elderly persons in the family, and all the citizens of Ayodhya offered their respectful obeisances unto the Lord. The citizens of Ayodhya, upon seeing the king return after long absence, offered him flower garlands, waved their upper cloths, and danced in jubilation. Great jubilation. O king, Lord Bharat carried Lord Ramachandra's wooden shoes, Sugriva and Vibhishan carried a whisk and an excellent fan, Hanuman carried a white umbrella, Shatrughna carried a bow and 2 quivers, and Sita Devi carried a water pot filled with water from holy places. Angada carried a sword, and Jambavan, the king of Rikshas, carried a golden shield. O King Parikshit, as the Lord sat on his airplane of flowers with women offering him prayers and reciters chanting about his characteristics, he appeared like the moon with the stars and planets. Thereafter, having been welcomed by his brother Bharat, Lord Ramachandra entered the city of Ayodhya in the midst of a festival. When he entered the palace, he offered obeisances to all the mothers, including Kaikeyi and the other wives of Maharaj Dasharath, and especially his own mother, Kaushalya. He also offered obeisances to the spiritual preceptors such as Vasishtha. Friends of his own age and younger friends worshipped him, and he returned their respectful obeisances, as did Lakshman and Mother Sita. In this way, they all entered the palace. So here, wow, 10:15. So Kaikeyi is seen as a evil woman in Ramayana. But actually, all such associates of the Lord, even including Ravan himself, who is the great demon, and we call him, compared to urine and all these things, lusty fellow and all this. But actually, who was he? Jaya and Vijay, Ravan and Kumbhakarna. So they are actually devotees of the Lord. So even Kaikeyi is a great devotee, in fact. In fact, it is said that she loved Ram more than even Kaushalya. So apparently, I don't know where this is, but it's definitely not in Valmiki Ramayana. But it is stated that when Ram was a young boy, he was playing with Kaikeyi. He was mostly with Kaikeyi actually. And he used to play with Kaikeyi, and once he covered her eyes from behind, and he said, if you tell who is this correctly, then I will do something for you. I will serve you. And if you are wrong, then you will have to do something for me. Then of course she knows who it is, but she purposely told wrong. Bharat, no, I'm Ram. So now you have to do something for me. Will you do? She said, of course. Actually, that's what she wanted. She wanted to do something for him. So therefore she gave wrong answer. Then Ram asked, will you really do whatever I ask? And she said, yes, I'll do anything for you. Then he said, I will ask you will have to do such a thing for me by which the sindoor on your head will go. That means you will become a widow. And your own son will denounce you. And in the entire future of the world, nobody will ever name their daughter as Kaikeyi. Will you still do what I want? Then she had tears in her eyes. Tears glided down, and she said, I'll do anything for you. So, the such stubborn obstinacy that she displayed when she wanted Ram away, because nobody could understand why she wanted Ram away, because whole life she loved Ram so much, and suddenly, just by Manthara's tricks, she became so antagonistic. It's not possible actually. But because if that did not happen, Ravan wouldn't be killed. So the whole story, it has to happen. So she made that sacrifice. She agreed to become an evil woman for the service of Lord Ram. So even Ravan, whom for the eternity people will condemn him, the devotees don't mind. They don't mind getting all kind of condemnation just to be of service. Because who can fight Ram? If he has to kill demons, he can bring one, cyclone or some earthquake and finish them off. If he has to fight someone, that demon has to be a great devotee. Because Lord only deals with devotees. So he will make the devotee into a demon and fight with him. Just like we do drama. All the devotees are acting as Ram, devotees acting as Ravan, devotees acting as, demons and Vanaras and everybody. So, Kṛṣṇa also, he has his own dramas. When he comes down here, he puts forth the drama to teach us lessons. Not only for entertainment. Teach us lessons, valuable lessons. So in this drama, everybody will play a different role. And people who are condemned, that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, very humbly, he said, Asura sakal pailo charan, vinoda thakilo bosi. He said, all the asuras which we say that, oh, this is a rascal, this is a demon, this is a rakshasa, a worst fellow, they have all achieved the Vaikuntha already. Because when the Lord kills, they go to Vaikuntha. Liberation, mukti, direct. However sinful he may be, killed by the Lord, moksha. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Asura sakal pailo charan. They have all achieved the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa, but I am still in the material world. I am the biggest demon actually. We think we are devotees and Ravan is demon, but actually Ravan better devotee than us. So he is actually Jaya and Vijay. We are the demons. Because if we are told that, oh, you are a demon, we don't like it. So Kṛṣṇa puts somebody else as demon and makes us see through a third person, okay, what is bad, what is good, so that we learn lessons. Actually, we are the demons that need to be rectified. Lord does not, why he comes to this material world? To teach us, to get us out of here. Otherwise, he has no need to come, no need to bring Jaya and Vijay here, nothing. For us, he did all the drama. So that we understand we are like actually Ravan, not like Hanuman. We need to become on the footsteps of Hanuman. Because both Hanuman and Ravan, they searched for Sita. Ravan came searching for her to the forest to enjoy her and take her back. Hanuman went in search of Mother Sita to bring her to Lord Ram, not for his own enjoyment. difference between Ravan and Hanuman. One is demon, one is devotee. So, upon seeing their sons, the mothers of Ram, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughna immediately arose like unconscious bodies returning to consciousness. The mothers placed their sons on their laps and bathed them with tears, thus relieving themselves of the grief of long separation. Therefore, you see, Ramchandra had nothing against Kaikeyi. Nothing against her. The family priest or spiritual master Vasishtha had Lord Ramachandra cleanly shaved, freeing him from his matted locks of hair. Then, with the cooperation of the elderly members of the family, he performed the bathing ceremony or Abhishek of Lord Ramachandra with the water of the four seas and with other substances, just as it was performed for King Indra. Lord Ramachandra fully bathed and his head clean shaven dressed himself very nicely and was decorated with a garland and ornaments. Thus he shone brightly surrounded by his brothers and wife who were similarly dressed and ornamented. Being pleased by the full surrender and submission of Lord Bharat, Lord Ramachandra then accepted the throne of the state. He cared for the citizens exactly like a father, and the citizens, being fully engaged in their occupational duties of Varna and Ashrama, accepted him as their father. Lord Ramachandra became king during Treta Yuga, but because of his good government, the age was like Satya Yuga. Everyone was religious and completely happy. O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the Bharat dynasty, during the reign of Lord Ramachandra, the forests, the rivers, the hills and mountains, the states, the 7 islands and the 7 seas were all favorable in supplying the necessities of life for all living beings. When Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was the king of this world, all bodily and mental suffering, disease, old age, bereavement, lamentation, distress, fear and fatigue were completely absent. There was even no death for those who did not want it. This is Ramarajya. Lord Ramachandra took a vow to accept only one wife and have no connection with any other woman. He was a saintly king and everything in his character was good, untinged by qualities like anger. He taught good behavior for everyone, especially for householders in terms of Varnashram Dharma. Thus, he taught the general public by his personal activities. Mother Sita was very submissive, faithful, shy and chaste, always understanding the attitude of her husband. Thus, by her character and her love and service, she completely attracted the mind of the Lord. So just as Lord Ramachandra exhibited the activities of a perfect human being, perfect man, Sita Devi also showed the perfect example of how to be a woman. Nowadays, women are all wanting to become independent, women's liberation. That is nonsense. In fact, they are more dependent and more unhappy, more miserable. And all kinds of social problems come with the so-called independence of women. Actually, the men who want to enjoy women and want to see them everywhere do these things so that they can see women everywhere. Because previously, men used to work and men used to see other men. Now, women also go to work. This man has a wife, he will see so many women and get agitated, and purposely they will also dress in ways which will agitate men. Extramarital affairs. The woman will go out somewhere, find another man. So many things go on. And not only that, even when woman earns money, she thinks she is more important. She doesn't need the man anymore. When a man earns money, he will not think like that I don't need a woman anymore. But when a woman gets money, she will think, I don't need a man anymore. And then she will start fighting. So, we have to learn from Mother Sita how to be a perfect wife. How a woman should behave in society. Therefore, in Vedic culture, woman is always protected. It's not exactly dependent or like a slave. Oh, woman shouldn't be independent, she should be a slave. No. She should be protected by the father in her childhood, by the husband in her youth, and by grown-up sons in her old age. So woman is never left free because it is danger for her. Just like kids are not let out free. Oh, freedom, well, let's give freedom to the kids. They'll go on the road and get killed. Similarly, women get freedom means what? They'll be exploited by unruly men. And not only men. It is said in the Bhagavatam that, and also in the Chanakya Niti Shastra, that women's lust is 8 to 9 times more than that of a man. So it has to be protected by chastity. When the woman loses the quality of shyness, that's it. She will become a prostitute. Nowadays, Bollywood and all this Hollywood, what are they showing? Women almost naked or even naked. Where people will learn anything. And then they will say that is entertainment. And when some rape case happens, oh, this is horrible. How can this happen? Of course it will happen. Why will it not happen? You are putting as entertainment industry. You are feeding the people these kind of things. Why people will not have these ideas? For one man who actually raped a woman, there will be at least 10,000 men who have considered it in their mind, but who never went as far as actually doing it because of fear of law or social stigma or whatever condition. For every man that actually committed it. Because we are taught how to see women as today, in today's generation. Every woman, how to see her as a girlfriend. Whereas our culture is how to see every woman as mother. Matravat paradhareshu. Every woman other than one's wife is a mother. Even if she's younger, mother, Mataji. Sometimes people won't find it comfortable. No, don't call me Mataji, I'm very young. Yeah, that's why I'm calling you Mataji, more so. Because more danger. Because there shouldn't be any other thought in the mind. She should be given the greatest respect of a mother. How much we respect our mother, that much we should respect. That is our culture. But now, women also don't. If you see, men, okay, they say men always had independence, women never had, that's why we fought for it. Okay, men always had independence. You give women independence now started, like last 100 years or what? On the screen, who is naked? Woman is naked. That just shows where is the more lust. So, this is very important for us to understand how to keep the whole society in order. Women's role, being a housewife, being a mother, being a chaste wife, these are condemned today, seen as if, oh, you think I can only do kitchen work and nothing else. They see it as something wrong. But if you see, this is actually Krishna's teachings. Sorry, 29, 24. See, Krishna is saying the highest religious duty for a woman is to sincerely serve her husband, behave well toward her husband's family, and take good care of her children. This is the highest religious duty of a woman. Not like becoming CEO and becoming some sports superstar. Nowadays, women are having to compete with men in the sports because men are becoming women. So-called transgender nonsense. There also they are being kicked out. So why do you want to fight this fight? Just stay at home, take care of the family, and don't think that it is then the woman cannot have any dreams. What dream you want to have? You want to have nightmares? Then go and try to be independent. Have nightmares? And next life, what will happen? And nowadays they're having so much illicit sex. And then abortion. Next life, I will have to be aborted. So this is this is complete bondage for the woman. Real liberation, woman's liberation means woman must be liberated to Vaikuntha. And that is happening only when she becomes a chaste wife and devotee of Krishna. Only that, otherwise no way. Then he says, next verse, women who desire a good destination in the next life should never abandon a husband who has not fallen from his religious standards, even if he is obnoxious, unfortunate, old, unintelligent, sickly, or poor. You see, Gandhari, she was the most beautiful princess. She's from Afghanistan actually. Today it's called Afghanistan. Kandahar was Gandhar, and she's Gandhari. She was so beautiful, extremely beautiful princess. And then when she came to know that her to-be husband is a blind man, she covered her eyes. Never once protested. That is how chaste the women are. For a woman from a respectable family, petty adulterous affairs are always condemned. They bar her from heaven, ruin her reputation, and bring her difficulty and fear. Transcendental love for me arises. Okay, this is now last part. Um, this is by Narad Muni. To render service to the husband, to be always favorably disposed toward the husband, to be equally well disposed toward the husband's relatives and friends, and to follow the vows of the husband. These are the four principles to be followed by women described as chaste. Chaste means faithful woman. A chaste woman must dress nicely and decorate herself with golden ornaments for the pleasure of her husband. Always wearing clean and attractive garments, she should sweep and clean the household with water and other liquids so that the entire house is always pure and clean. She should collect the household paraphernalia and keep the house always aromatic with incense and flowers, and must be ready to execute the desires of her husband. Being modest and truthful, controlling her senses, and speaking in sweet words, a chaste woman should engage in the service of her husband with love according to time and circumstances. A chaste woman should not be greedy but satisfied in all circumstances. She must be very expert in handling household affairs and should be fully conversant with religious principles. She should speak pleasingly and truthfully and should be very careful and always clean and pure. Thus, a chaste woman should engage with affection in the service of a husband who is not fallen. Patim tu apatitam bhajet. Patim tu apatitam bhajet. Of course, if the person is a fallen rascal, then it's another thing if he's abusing and abusing and abusing. But this word abuse is subjective. Nowadays, people use abuse for, when he says something which is not agreeable. Oh, abuse. Divorce. As they say, love at first sight, divorce at first fight. Now that is a formula. Okay, so many lessons to glean from Ramayana. Of course, next chapter is also there, but we don't have time. जय रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. राम नवमी महामहोत्सव की जय. अयोध्या धाम की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. निताय गौर प्रेमानंद.